Welcome back to the pregame show here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. It is time for the Broadcasters Roundtable. Darren Zaslow with you here. To my left is Newport Gulls field reporter Dave Peck, and to my right, the voice of the Mystic Schooners, Jack Almer. Dave, I'll start with you. Newport 6-13, entering play here tonight after a rainout on Saturday at Winnipesaukee. Andrew Dashbach gave Newport a 2-0 lead early on in that ball game with a 2-run home run in the top of the first. The rain comes down. Newport gets an off day out of that. Seems like the Gulls are pretty well rested coming into tonight's contest.
Rest should not be an issue. We've had about 3 or 4 rainouts so far this season. And they, before that, played on Friday night and lost a tough one in extra innings. One that they most likely, I'm not going to say they should have won it, but they had their chances. A couple bases loaded situations with nobody out. The 2, 3, and 4 batters, hard of the lineup for the Gulls, struck out and left the bases loaded, and they ended up losing that game by a score of 9-4. So you look for them to bounce back. I think it's been enough time, so they've kind of been able to reset, get ready for Mystic, and put together a good ball game.
You bring up the rainouts. Already one against Keene, now one against Winnipesaukee, so 2 more games on the back end of this NECBL regular season schedule. Do you think that bodes well at all for this new look team?
I think that's a great point. I think having those games rained out in a time where maybe the team isn't playing as well as everyone thinks they should, or even they think they should, maybe you push those games back a few weeks and we start to get hot. Late July, things happen. You got a couple more extra games that mean a few more. And then maybe you can put together some more wins in a time where maybe earlier in the season you would not have.
Andrew Dashbach named the NECBL Player of the Week. The Stanford product is currently hitting .380, which is number 3 in the league with 4 home runs. What have you seen from Dashbach here so far, Dave?
He's just had a really great approach at the plate. I think that's the biggest thing. He's been able to find his pitches and attack them. And a lot of times when hitters are struggling, it's because they're being a little bit too picky, a little bit too patient, and they're, for lack of a better phrase, on their back foot. And the pitcher's kind of going right at him with everything, playing defensive offense, I guess you could say. Dash has been doing a really great job at going after the pitches he sees. He's been green light, ready to go, ready to make contact, and putting the ball in play and making the opposing players, try and put him out.
Well, Jack, speaking of NECBL Players of the Week, Mystic had the Pitcher of the Week here in the NECBL, Kevin Chandler out of UC Santa Barbara. How important has he been to the Schooners pitching staff this year?
Well, he really just kind of came on for Mystic. He made his first appearance of the year, actually in relief against Newport. It was 1-inning pitch. He threw 2 strikeouts and allowed 0 runs, but got his first start, and it was only his second appearance of the year, and he just exploded against Plymouth. Went 7 innings, struck out 6, but the most important thing was, aside from allowing no runs, he only faced 23 batters, so he was very efficient, and that limited pitch count really helped him go far into that outing, and it was the longest outing we've seen by a Mystic starting pitcher yet this season.
Speaking of Mystic pitching, it has been excellent this season for the Schooners, a 2.84 team ERA. That is the second best in the league. Jack, talk to me about what you've seen from this pitching staff.
Well, really, you have to give a lot of credit to the guys in the bullpen. We've had so many pitchers who are able to come out and place scoreless innings on opposing teams, and that's been huge down the stretch. Mystic has a lot of young starting pitchers, so these guys are still working through some of their mechanics, things like that, becoming better players. But then when you have a bullpen who can give you that relief, it allows your offense to sometimes get back into games and help them get wins. So guys like Trevor Holmes, Turner French, they've been huge, allowing Mystic to stay in ball games, and that's been part of the key to why they sit at second place in the Southern Division.
With those 11 wins, Mystic has been playing consistent baseball. Someone who's helped them play consistently on the diamond. How about John Trousdale? The Alabama product is hitting .412. That leads the NECBL. And Jack, how important has he been to this lineup as well?
Oh, he's been huge. I mean, he came on to the beginning of the year. He was hitting sub .300. Mystic was 2-5 through his first 7 games. Then through a 3-game stretch, he just exploded on the scene, hit 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, was 8 of 12 from the plate. That was huge over those 3 games, and he just hasn't looked back. He's reaching base at a 5.38 clip. So over half the time he comes up, he's getting on base. He has a consecutive streak of now 17 games where every game he's gotten an at-bat in, he's been able to get on base one way or another. He's just been absolutely phenomenal for the Schooners, really broken out as one of their best players this year.
It's Newport and Mystic first pitch set for 6:35 p.m. For Dave Peck and Jack Ulmer, I'm Darren Zaslow. The Newport Gulls pregame show continues next right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.